Illinois Tollway drivers could start paying more next year. On Thursday, community members weigh in on the proposed plan. Miriam Niesmeyer is back from the meeting, and state leaders say the increase is designed to help fund billions of dollars in road work.
The Illinois Tollway funds its road system through toll revenue and bonds, not state or federal tax dollars. That puts the cost directly on drivers. Some hope improvements lead to more safety and faster travel.
On average, we average anywhere from 500 to 1,000 miles a week.
After hundreds of miles on the road each week, International Union of Operating Engineers Local 150 member Andy Marino views the proposed toll hike as an investment in safety.
I believe it's a small price to pay for public safety and infrastructure.
Thursday, the Illinois Tollway held the 6th of 13 public hearings on a plan calling for an average 45-cent increase on passenger I-Pass tolls and a 35% commercial hike in 2027.
As a customer, it's important that I have a safe road to travel. It's important that I can get where I need to go for work, certainly, every single day to and from the suburbs on I-88.
Illinois Tollway would put that money toward Driving Connections, a 15-year, $26.5 billion construction plan across several interstates, including I-88 and I-90.
Our goal is that this program will benefit not only the 1.7 million drivers who use our system on a typical day, but also the hundreds of communities in our region by unlocking economic development, encouraging growth, and streamlining the flow of goods, services, and people.
Across the tollway system, the program includes road and bridge reconstruction, wider lanes, smart road technology, and updated maintenance facilities to improve safety and travel reliability. Several people at the meeting opposed the plan, but they declined interviews and they did not speak publicly. The next public hearing will be held at Rock Valley College and Northern Illinois University on Monday, July 20th.
Now, this proposal also includes a plan starting in 2029 to adjust rates every 2 years based on inflation.